Hey guys, how's it going? It is Kire here with another Infinite Magicraid video. And in today's video, I want to talk about why healers, or at least dedicated healers in this game, are terrible. And this potentially could be a controversial subject, but hear me out here and let me explain my thought process on why I think that's the case. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying healers are bad is because all the damage that you really encounter in PvE situations is all very bursty. You can't really heal through it. And a lot of times when you lose a run or something like that, or you lose a character, it's because they got 100 to 0'd. That is the reason why I think healing is overrated, or something that you can attach to a character. I'll explain that in a second. But the thing that really matters if you want healers is damage mitigation and a shield. Those are going to be the things that really matter in progressing through this. And then you want to be able to plan on it and consistently rely on it. And that's why I think Catherine is basically a must-have in every team in this game, because she's a guaranteed character eventually, and she's the best shielder. And then she also provides healing. And then the counterattack is a really nice bonus. But the main thing that she's providing is a massive shield. That is why characters, if you don't provide something else besides that, you're just going to lose anyway. And healing is something that you can just add to a character. And I think the best characters to add it to are people that go twice, and ideally characters that shield. So for example, this is a character, when you have her exclusive 3, she can use this move and then immediately go again, and then she shields. And so because she's going twice, she's applying Recovery Horn Aura twice, which means she's actually a pretty good healer, because she's doing 16% heal on top of the fact that she's providing damage mitigation and she's providing a shield. So, and then also I think another big thing people don't do that I think they should do if you really want to survive these dungeons is making your shielder fast. And the speed of which you need to make your shielder is going to be dependent on which stage you're on. You don't need to have her at 2190 like I do. What you want to do is you want to scale it to whatever dungeon you're facing. So I have her at 2190 because I'm at most doing Tower Mark 29 here. So 2180 is the boss here, and I really need her to go faster than that boss, or I risk a character getting one shot immediately before the turn starts. And that concept is going to apply to any dungeon or whatever, because if you don't go faster than them, the damage is just so high that you're probably going to get one shot. If you don't have a shield first when you get to harder versions of Faction Abyss, everyone just dies. And even with like 500,000 health, doesn't matter. They'll just all get one shot. So you really need to go first. And that's going to be the major thing you got to do. But how you understand what speed you need, this doesn't apply to Ifrit, but literally everything else, Tower Mark, Dwarven Ruins, and Faction Abyss, what you do is you just start at level 30 and count down by 20 to whatever stage you're on, and then that's how you know how fast they are. So 2200 minus it by 20 each stage, and then that's exactly how fast the boss is going to be, and that's the speed you should be shooting for to be able to beat that content. And then the easier the content, or the lower the stage, probably the damage is not that much, so it might not be that necessarily that big of a deal, but the harder you go, that's really going to make a major difference in your survival. Not just adding a healer, for example, just having a shielder that's ready to go, and then can cover everyone first, and that's going to provide a ton more survivability than another healer, for example. Another thing too, healers are good, but healers need to be someone that provides way more than just healing. For example, Space here, she provides healing, but also speed down and speed up, and also turn meter manipulation with the auto attack too. So that's why Space is so good, is because she's a healer kinda, but it's more so about the turn meter manipulation on the auto attack, the turn meter manipulation on her teammates, and then the speed down, and then the speed up. So you get more turns. That's what really matters. Whereas a character like Gru, for example, the reason why I don't like him too much is, yes, he has this preventative measure here on the ally protection, but the damage is so high that if he is protecting, like, you can try to get him to survive, but he's probably just going to get bodied, because an AoE hitting everyone is going to do so much damage that he's going to get dropped to almost 0. And then this heal right here, you can't be, you have to be proactive. So you're doing a lot of things on auto. He's just going to do this at the wrong times. And even if he had this ability, it's not going to cut in. The enemies are going to do their move, and then he's either going to be before them or after them. So then, unless you timed it to where he goes in between, this heal is going to come at a bad time. And there's pretty much no content in the game that you could survive directly without a shield if all 5 enemies go and do their damage. If they all go and then he heals after, probably they're already dead anyway. So there's really no way to have a dedicated healer like that. Yes, he's protecting him with his passive, but usually that's not enough. Maybe he's dead because he just took all that damage. So it's very difficult to have a true dedicated healer in this game. Other healers, for example, that I think are actually good or providing enough. For example, this character here, stopping the crit damage, making it significantly lower by, what is that, 26%. I think that's a really big deal. At exclusive 1, she's slowing everyone down, which is a really big deal. AoE slow is not something that is common. I think she's the only one that can do that, especially at 70%. When you see 70%, I believe you can make that 100% with enough effect hit. From my testing, attribute debuffs that are on the 70% chance can become 100% with effect hit. The things that I haven't been able to see is things that are at like the 30% or 50%. I'm not for sure if I can make those 100% chance. But then also, she just removes buffs, which is a guaranteed, doesn't even have an effect hit. You don't need effect hit to make sure this happens, but you do need effect hit to make sure this speed down happens. And then also cleanses attribute debuff. So I think she's providing enough here, even though this is just a basic heal. She's doing enough. And she wouldn't be doing enough if you didn't have a shielder with her. You need to have that damage mitigation on there too. Also, another character I think would be better than just a dedicated healer on your team would be something like a Visley, because another 70% attribute debuff. So you can make that 100% chance with enough effect hit, and then 40% attack reduction, which I think is a way bigger thing than just having more healing. So that's basically all I'm trying to say here is make sure you have a shielder, and then a shielder that goes faster than the final boss, so you can actually survive that first hit, and then having other characters that can manipulate turns or reduce damage is going to go a lot further for your progression than something like another healer, for example, unless that healer is also providing a ton of other stuff for you that matter. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. When it comes to this content, it's very difficult, a lot of bursty, high damage stuff. So that's why I think healers are overrated, and mainly you want to focus on those other things first and then the healers second, assuming you even need to have them, because a lot of times the best healer is probably a shielder with recovery horn aura. So hopefully that was helpful, and you guys have a good one. Peace.